Hello and welcome to this lesson, Ladybird number 2, where the focus is chord notes or target notes, okay, but namely the first or the root of the chord, the third, the fifth, and then moving on also to the seventh. So activity 1, we're only going to do the root, the third and the fifth, okay. Now I know we're all at different stages in our development as improvising jazz musicians, so really the idea is that you don't try not to feel under pressure that you have to do every activity every week, okay, because you are at a different level to other people, okay, like I'm at a different level to millions of other jazz trumpet players, so I have to practice what I feel needs working on for me. Okay, so you need to think to yourselves, right, where am I, what can I already do, and hopefully there's enough in there for you to do where you feel you are developing. If there's not, like I've said before, you can speed up the tempo, okay, or easily drop me a line and just say I need a faster backing track, which I am more than happy to send you, okay. But I think we're going up to today. I'm adding a slower backing track, so there's a 175 BPM, a 150 and a 125. All the activities today are recorded at 125 BPM, okay. So activity 1, please note, all the voicings are only suggested. I've started on the root, okay, for each one. But if you want to start on the third or the fifth, or if you want to take it up the octave, that's fine for you. Now, something else I've noticed. 2 things, actually. I'm really glad that I've decided to do the Zoom calls, because it helps me. It's really helped me to inform my planning. What am I going to do for this week? So I'm trying to do it so it benefits lots of people. I'm getting a good feel for, I think, for where everyone is, and that's why there's all the different activities. Like I said, don't feel under pressure, you have to do them all, okay. Regarding the technical aspects of instruments, okay, so that is something I obviously don't know about different things for different instruments, but what I do know, because I play the violin as well, is if you slow it down, isolate it, even if it's over a tricky thing, it's like that would be the equivalent of me crossing strings or something. I either have to change position, or you just have to slow it right down and be laser focused with your practice, and you will develop that, okay. So activity 1, keep drilling them in. Remember, these are this is very important as well, there is not an infinite amount of chords, okay. So by doing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jazz standards, you pretty much, I think we're going to cover all the chords that you're ever going to need, and possibly in the keys that you're going to need them, okay, because lots of the 2-5-1s in Ladybird, if you learn them really well, learn the chords really well, I should say key centers, they're also going to be in lots and lots of other tunes, okay. So by practicing and isolating and using it to, that's why I like to practice using a tune, because you can really focus and learn that tune really well, and then that's sort of, if you like, in your back pocket. If you ever go to a jam session or you're doing your own gig, right, let's do this tune, I know this tune really well, and you'll feel much more confident rather than just learning loads of random 2-5-1s in all the keys, okay, which you can do, but I think that's maybe further down the line for many more of us, where we learn a lick and do it in all the keys, etc. Okay, that is good too, but learning the tune, I think that's a good way of taking ourselves forward, okay. And like I said, that it will get, by learning the chords and learning them really well, you'll know them forever, and it will give you a greater understanding of the other tunes. So here we go with activity number 1, with the backing track, and I'm going to do it again back to B flat today. Okay, so here we go. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, so activity number 2, learn the chords for Ladybird, and we're also adding the 7th. Okay, so if number 1 was too easy for you, maybe the 7th. Okay, by adding the 7th, you're stretching yourselves out a bit more. It's extra understanding. Okay, so what I've written here as well, feel free to make up your own jazz etude. Okay, so feel free to obviously improvise your own versions of this, but I think by writing it down, that would give you extra, it would really sort of consolidate the knowledge that you're learning. Okay, and if you feel that you need more chordal knowledge, it is a great way, okay, to understand what goes where. So if you're writing down D major 7, it is, by writing the C sharp, the A, the F sharp, and the D, you're just helping yourself, okay? So also remember, practice very slowly until you know the chords, okay? And again, with this one, I have purposely started on the root for each chord, so you're really cementing as well that key center, okay, or the chord for where we're going. So if it's like in the key of D, and we've got the E minor 7 to the A7, we are starting on the E minor 7, going to the A7 to the D, so 2 5 1 2 5 2 5, whatever that might be. Okay, so here we go with activity or etude number 2. Okay, activity number 3, again, always starting on the root, but we are getting a bit more chance to practice our articulation, and we are only using the first 5 notes of actually the tonic, the second, the third, and the fifth. Do-ba-do-dee. Okay, it's got a nice jazz feel, and it just gives us that root, and it's something to spring off, and that is developing our jazz vocabulary just by doing that. That could be a very nice start to a phrase, and once we start putting in all the other topics that we're going to cover, or we have covered, like rhythm, enclosures, approach notes, okay, that again, just by practicing that, developing our jazz vocabulary. Okay, this time we only use I've said the first 5 notes, but it's the first, the second, the third, and the fifth for that key center. Okay, again, when I say the key center, I'm talking about the 2 5. So again, if we're in D, E minor 7, A7 to D, da 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 dee dee, do 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 do. Okay, here we go with activity number 3. Okay, activity number 4. This was one of the first exercises I ever did, okay? And it's a great way to just get to know the chords. So if we're in, you just start on the root and you go up the chordal notes using the tonic, third, the fifth, the seventh, the tonic, and back down. So if I just play you the first few chords. Okay, so So playing it like that, you're really getting to know, you have to feel very confident with the chords. Even if you're reading the chords as a lead sheet, that's fine. But try not to read the notes as an exercise. By, you know, the whole purpose of this is just reading the chords. This is, like, as I said before, you know, the calls, the Zoom calls on the Thursday have been very valuable for me. I hope they have been for you as well, in informing my planning, because this is, I feel, where some of the people are. Okay, so you really want to drill these chord notes, and if they are too fast, I've made the backing track again, like I said, a bit slower. This is at 125 beats per minute. Okay, if you're a bit more advanced, you know, and you feel this is a bit easy, do it fast. Do them fast. Okay, and that will definitely help you. This was one of the first exercises I ever got off Paul Ashleby, like I say, and it wasn't over a tune. It was over all the 2-5-1s in all the keys. Okay, so and it was like bossa tempo. No. Okay, and you can, so that is maybe an exercise you can do. It's quite tricky because you're going to go through all the 12 keys. So that's big benefits to doing that. But I think maybe at the minute where some of us are, don't worry about it. Okay, what's great about Ladybird, I think, whether you're an E flat player, a B flat player, or a concert pitch player, all the key centers or all the 2-5-1s are quite familiar keys. There's nothing in there with, you know, 5, 6, 7 sharps or flats, so it shouldn't take too much to get our fingers around. Okay, so have fun with activity number 4. It's not really jazz, but it's a great exercise for learning the chords. I was trying to play in a swinging style. I remember paying attention to your time and trying not to cut any notes short. That's very important. Okay, again, I mentioned this last week, when I'm hearing people play, not everyone and not all the time, but what you want to really be conscious of is not stopping your sound. Not. You can hear boo, but there's gaps in my sound. We don't want that. Okay, rather than big difference there, isn't there? So try and make sure you're not sounding like the second one. So maybe record yourself, boo ba doo ba doo ba doo, and it's like sing it as well. Sing it, because you would never sing it do ba doo ba doo ba doo ba doo ba doo ba doo. Okay, it doesn't. You would never sing it like that. It would be do ba doo 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 do ba doo do ba doo ba doo ba doo. It's when you sing it yourself, you think, oh, that sound. But it's amazing the amount of people that do play it like that. So try to avoid that if you can. If you do avoid it, it makes your solos sound more authentic. Okay, so that is activity number 4. So activity number 5 is basically a simple etude I've created using all the techniques that we've covered all the activities in this lesson. So let me just read out activity 5. This is a simple etude made up of the exercises covered in the lesson. Try and play through this if you want, but it will be more beneficial if you can improvise your own. Doesn't matter if you've not covered all of the activities, just use the activity that you have and be really familiar with that. Okay, don't worry about leaving gaps in your own improvised solos. Again, if you want to, write out your own etude. Okay, if you do write out your own etude, again, like I said before, it's really helped consolidating what notes are in what chord. Okay, and the more you think about it, especially as you're doing something, writing it down, that's just going to make it even more familiar to you, especially when you come to play it. Okay, and like I said, Paul Eshelby, that lesson, see you in 6 months' time. Okay, so it does take time. He was a very experienced teacher, that Paul, and he knew it takes time to internalize. So to get it into your playing. Don't worry if you feel, as we're moving on to the next lesson, but it's not internalized yet, I've not done it, because it's just going to be a process. This is a process we're going through, not like it's not like school where it's tick or cross. It's just like anything we do, it's like taking medicine, okay, but a good medicine. Okay, so taking it is better than having none, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Okay, because by practicing this and then we're moving on to another tune in a few weeks' time, you're aware of it, you're more familiar, you know what's going on. Okay, you're growing, you're growing as a musician, you're growing as an improviser. Okay, so activity 5, try and play through my etude if you want to, but try and improvise your own, and like I said, maybe write down your own. Okay, also, if you feel you're ready and you need to be pushing yourself even more, you could also include approach notes, which we covered in Autumn Leaves. You could also include enclosures, which we use in Autumn Leaves. You could also use jazz rhythms, which we also use again in Autumn Leaves. It's not everything that we did for that tune, Autumn Leaves, also applies for this tune. Okay, and then everything we're doing in this tune and Autumn Leaves will apply for the tune after that. Okay, and we will probably go over some things again and again and again and again, because that helps us really learn it, internalize it, consolidates everything. Okay, so how to make great progress. It would be better to make fantastic progress on one activity rather than a little bit on all the three. Okay, because if you're really strong on activity 1, next time we do something, you'll be really strong on that much quicker, and then you can think about adding the 7ths and doing the other activities. It's just going to help build your musicianship. Okay, so that's activity number 5. We're going to have a listen to that now. So activity 6, it's just the lead sheet of the chords for you to practice all of the topics so far we've covered, all the activities like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course have a go at improvising. Have fun trying to create your own solos. It would be great if you wanted to record your solo and post it on Facebook. I've really enjoyed listening to those. It's great that you're contributing in that way. I'm loving it. Okay, so please keep that up. I think other people are enjoying your performances too. So if you're naturally that way inclined and like to do that, I would as well. So do it. Yeah, it's fantastic. We like it. So, and again, like I said, with activity 6, if you want to incorporate all the other aspects that we've so far covered, approach notes, targeting, enclosures, the jazzy rhythms, okay, all the 2-5-1s. If you've got any 2-5-1s under your fingers that you want to practice in those other keys, we are going to be moving on to some of these other things soon. Chromatic enclosures is coming up. Going to do another lesson on 2-5-1s with some different phrases. Okay, so that is the end of lesson number 2, chord and target notes for Ladybird. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you got some great value from it this week. You know, you could practice this probably for a month, maybe 2 months, and really get into it. But it's just the nature of the way that these lessons are going. So just try your best over the week. And there's nothing wrong if you want to stay on this lesson and just work on Ladybird. It's like with Autumn Leaves. You know, if you just wanted to stay with Autumn Leaves, there's plenty in there to keep you going for quite a long time. But as I said in the last segment of the video, it's quite, the way I'm teaching you is quite holistic in a way. We just keep doing the same type of activities, but in a different way on a different tune. So your knowledge and musicianship should be growing all the time, and of course your understanding and knowing how to practice and why you're practicing it. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, as I said before, and I'll see you Thursday for the Zoom call. Okay, bye for now.